Welcome, farmers, to the harvest season. Ding, 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 ding. Nee, 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 nee.
Spared no expense.
Hello. See, what I want, I would have preferred the kazoo version. Have you heard that one? The
I have
kazoo
not
version of
heard that
Jurassic Park?
version.
Oh, I'll have to send you a link.
Ah,
It's an amazing one. I'll do that right now. But in the meanwhile, hello, listeners, farmers. I'm your host Kevin, and with me today is Spencer.
yes, they thought they could get rid of me after the last episode I was on, but I'm back, so deal with it.
And and why? Because dinosaurs, of course. We are here to talk about Paleo Pines,
In
and Spencer, our resident dinosaur lover, alongside me. I'm also a big fan. We were both very excited for this one.
yeah, I remember seeing it and I was like, oh man, I gotta wedge my way, force my way in with Al this time again.
Yep, yep. But before that, um, oh, see, I sent you the kazoo cover of Jurassic Park. Um, but before we get into Paleo Pines, as usual, we're gonna cover some news and other stuff. As usual, you can find the show notes and the transcript on the website as always. All right, but what have you been up to, Spencer?
Games I've been playing. Well, I was playing Tears of the Kingdom for a while, and then honestly, I've been playing a couple mobile games. So I started playing Monster Hunter now. Are you playing that?
Oh, I am not.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
first off, have you played Monster Hunter, not mobile version?
So I have Rise, and
Okay.
I also have Worlds. I think it is for
Uh huh.
PS4. I
Right.
just barely scratched the surface of both of them. I think it got a little bit
Okay.
farther in Rise than I did in Worlds.
Okay,
Um,
but you've hunted some things. You have familiarity.
oh yeah, I definitely hunted
Okay.
some things.
Oh,
See, the issue
okay.
with me in those kind of games is like
Uh huh.
the feedback loop for that kind of stuff is actually really I like really enjoy it, but I get
Yeah.
stuck on like the first level because I'm like, oh cool, I hunted this monster. Let me like hunt it again. Let me hunt it again.
Uh huh.
I just keep on hunting
Right.
the same thing over and over again, and I never end up proceeding to the next level or the next area or
I mean,
wherever.
that's fine. You've got to do that at points to grind out better gear. So,
Yeah, that's true. So I am familiar
yeah.
with the series a little bit. But yeah, it's been playing a lot of now. Well, I was playing a lot of
Oh,
now. Kind
okay. So
of.
tell me about now because I'm fascinated how this works. But this is by Niantic, the Pokemon Go people.
Yeah,
They made a
so
Monster Hunter game.
so
Tell me.
basically like while you're walking around, there'll just be like monsters kind of out where you are. God, I think someone pointed out it's almost like the movie in that it's our world, but the monsters have now kind of like invaded our world. So you're just walking around. There'll be like lesser monsters, and like ones that would actually be like a hunt in the real game, and you just fight them. You're kind of timed similarly to how you would
Okay.
do like a say like a raid in Pokemon Go. A lot
Right.
more intensive than Pokemon Go, if you'll believe that. You're still basically clicking, but you can like
Okay. Sure.
yeah, you
Right.
can like
You're
swipe to
on mobile.
dodge.
There's only so much you can do. Right. Uh huh.
Yeah, you can swipe to dodge. You can get perfect like perfect dodges and stuff. And then there are some combinations because I'm using was it Greatsword, and you can like kind of do this thing where you like if you start swinging and then you swipe, you'll do kind of that shoulder, shoulder charge attack.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there are definitely
Right.
like combos and stuff that you can figure out. It would benefit
Okay.
from a like tutorial, like in a fighting game, you have your little like tutorial, practice area. It would definitely
Right.
benefit from something like that because you can like
Oh.
then you
Okay.
could
Yeah.
figure
Training
out
room.
yeah
Yeah.
training room. Um, but yeah, so you walk around, you fight monsters, you collect collect different resources. Your little what are the little cats called?
The Palicos.
Palicos, yeah. You have one, so it runs around and collects resources for you.
Right,
It'll
right.
also mark monsters too, so you can like come
Okay.
back. Yeah, it's pretty. My understanding is it's a little bit more leaning towards the world's aesthetic.
Yeah.
So the
Okay.
different
Sure.
monsters from there and stuff. It's fun. You kind of plateau a little bit if you aren't able to go out and get resources. I've needed to upgrade like my weapons for a while now, but I just simply can't find the resources I
Ah.
need. So it is what
Okay.
it is. Um, but yeah, it's been
Have you
fun.
tried any other weapons?
Well, in Rise and in Worlds, I was using Switch Axe, which is not
Right.
in this game,
What?
unfortunately. Yeah,
What?
they left it out. So I had to go with
Okay.
the next best thing. They do have, your like kind of daily challenges that give you experience for
Mm-hmm.
your rank, and
Right.
some of the challenges will ask of you to do things with other weapons. So they do try to like kind of get you to branch out. It'll be like, oh, kill three monsters with
Okay.
like a hammer or something like that. So
Okay.
you will inevitably have at least one of each weapon somewhat, upgraded and stuff. So that way those
Uh-huh.
little challenges won't be such a pain.
Okay. Okay. I ask because so for people who aren't familiar with Monster Hunter, as the name implies, right, you're just out hunting monsters, but there's different types of weapons and they all play significantly differently. So I wonder, like, is that the same here? Does a bow hunt player feel different from hunting with a hammer?
They definitely do. Like the sword and shield's a lot faster. You start off with that too. So you kind of like
Okay.
I think you don't even get to choose a different weapon until you reach rank 10. Which can go by pretty quickly depending on like the area you are and how close you are. Much like Pokemon Go, it's a lot of it's dependent on how close you are to like stops and other points of
Right.
interest, right? So if you're close to things like that, your rank can probably go up pretty quickly within the first day, and you can get to the other weapons. Um, but yeah, there is definitely a different playstyle to each one. For as much as it is just tapping and swiping.
Okay. All right, that's interesting. But the fact that they don't have the Switch X weapon I've played for decade plus, yeah, I know that game goes in the trash for me.
Yeah, it was kind of a bummer when I
Um,
saw that. I was like, oh man.
okay. All right. What else have you been up to other than this fascinating
That and oh god,
experience?
this is so embarrassing for me to admit, but have you ever seen the ads for that mobile game Raid?
Rage Shadow
Shadow Legends.
Legends.
Yeah, I
Did
was
you
like,
get your
I
300 free heroes?
I did not. I just downloaded it. I was like, what is this game about? I keep seeing the ads. Let me just try it. If for those of you who don't know me, I download too many mobile games and my phone's just like full of them and I don't play them and it's a bad habit that I need to stop and break, but I was like whatever. They have money to hire all these famous actors to promote their game, so maybe it's good. And it's not bad. I'll be honest. You know what? It's not bad. It is definitely a mobile game. It has everything you'd expect from a mobile game. It has, you know, timed items, rechargeable energy, all the little it bombards you with buying packs and stuff. But, you know, whatever. I'm not into PvP too much, so I'm not concerned about having the best champions right away and stuff. But it's a mobile game. I don't know what else there is to say about it. You wait for things.
Okay. Like, okay, what do the it's a is it a gotcha game? I'm assuming it's a gotcha game, right? To get
Yeah,
your
so there are
different
there are
characters
these
and
like
stuff.
hero crystals or something. I've only been playing it for not too long, so pardon me
Okay.
for any hardcore raid players out there. It's called the whatever. These crystals, and you like summon heroes and stuff, and 9 times out of 10 you're summoning one that's going to be used for fodder for something else, but every once in a while you'll summon some epic hero or whatever. So yeah, it's a
Okay.
gotcha
Are
game.
there any cool designs or I mean,
They're all
because
pretty
if
cool.
there's a
If
cool looking
you are
guy,
into
I'm
like very like high fantasy and dark fantasy kind of stuff, um, they have some good stuff, like Lord of the Rings or like I don't know what else, The Witcher. If you're into that kind of stuff, then you'll probably
Okay.
be drawn to
High
the aesthetic.
fantasy stuff. Okay.
Yeah. It is a little odd, some of the designs, because like they lean into like fantasy of multiple cultures. So there's like a whole subset of like, clearly Asian inspired fantasy people
Oh,
and
sure.
creatures,
Okay.
which is kind of interesting to see with more European style, more medieval style fantasy. You'll have your like Knights of the Round Table style knight fighting alongside like a ninja. But it's, I mean, I can see why they have enough money to make ads like that. So it's very solid. I will say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hey, now that it's been brought on the podcast, I'm sure they'll approach us for a sponsorship now.
Oh, hopefully.
There you go, Al.
Yeah. You're welcome.
I can't wait for Al to read how much he loves Rage Legends. um.
Uh,
Okay.
what have you
Oh,
been playing?
uh, mostly, mostly Paleo Pines. I won't lie. This week's been a lot of Paleo Pines. Um, but before that, I'm going to plug the other show, Rainbow Road Radio, hosted by our mutual friend Alex, and I happen to be on it. We covered Luigi's Mansion last week. We are back
Ooh.
from our break, and to kick off Spooktober, Halloween, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We played Luigi's Mansion, the original for the GameCube.
Oh, okay, okay. I
Uh,
was gonna ask,
yeah,
didn't they re-released it for DS, correct, or 3DS?
yes. Actually, that's interesting because Alex played it on the DS. He did the remake. I did the original version.
Okay.
And it's interesting to hear those comparisons. But I will say, overall, like that's still a really good game. I hadn't played it before. Actually, this is my first time playing the
Oh wow,
original.
really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So no nostalgia, rose-colored glasses or whatever. I
I think
enjoyed it.
that was the first game I got for my GameCube. That and Wave
Yeah.
Race. Yeah.
Ooh, Wave Race. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a launch game, I think, for the GameCube, so that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised. One thing I was surprised by because I played the second one, Dark Moon, and I watched my brother play Luigi's Mansion 3.
Mm-hmm.
So what I didn't expect is Luigi's Mansion 1. Boy, that they saw Resident Evil and said, "What if we do Resident Evil with the Luigi?" Because boy, that feels like a Resident Evil game, both the tank controls and the aesthetic. But overall, very fun.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so yeah, check that episode out if you want more details on that. But yeah, aside from that, a lot of the usual stuff. Uh, right, it's October now, so everything's getting spooky and whatnot.
Yeah, all the
Masters
spooky
has,
updates.
yeah, Pokemon Masters has spooky costumes. Roxanne looks great in her witch outfit. Pokemon Unite is getting Mimikyu in a week or two. Uh, and Marvel Snap's getting all sort of spooky cards for this season, and I love the dumb monsters that they have in Marvel, so I'm really happy. Uh, but yeah, that's what I've been up to. Like I said, though, a lot of Paleo Pines. I don't think I've played anything else on my Switch this week other than Paleo Pines.
Yeah, that's been consuming my time too, as far as actual console games go. It's just
Right,
Paleo
right.
Pines, yeah.
Okay. And we'll get into why later, but before that, let's talk about the news. All right. First up, let's see here. Garden Buddies. This is can't remember. This is our previously announced game, but regardless, we have a trailer for it. Let me actually take a look at it. We have it announced for October 20th. Uh, boy, that's quite an aesthetic. I don't remember this game at all, but these are little crops and vegetables with faces and a bat. Uh,
No, I
looks
watched
really
this
funny looking.
trailer, and the voices man, I don't know if they're gonna get a cease and desist from Rare, but boy oh boy do they sound like like your typical Banjo Kazooie, little.
Yeah, yeah, they do. They do. Or for people who haven't played Rare, Animal Crossing pretty close to that too.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah. So you don't remember this? What is this game exactly? Uh, yeah, because I don't remember the trailer here, but it is releasing the 20th of October. I said, which oh my gosh, actually, that's going to be like almost when these people are listening to this podcast. It'll be out, and it will be on Steam and on Switch. So you can look forward to that. Let me double check to see what kind of game it is because I keep talking about it. I'm curious.
Yeah, I was curious too because I mean the trailer that I got here was just the release date, and as
Yeah.
far as I can tell, you're the vegetables themselves.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are. It's a unique blend of cozy gardening simulator and mental self-care. That's okay. That's a lot of buzzwords. The art, I don't know how I feel about the art. I kind of like it, I kind of hate it. The eyes are very, very like kawaii baby eyes. But there's a little mushroom guy riding a frog, so that looks cool.
Little bat
Uh,
buddy too.
yeah, the bat's pretty good. Um, yeah, they are. Let's see here. In this heartwarming story, players accompanied by Mutzi will explore the magical world, creating and building their plant sanctuary. The relaxing storyline will be filled with uplifting narration as well as unexpected twists and turns. They will make lots of friends with animals and plant creatures they encounter. So yeah, okay, it sounds like a lot, but they're really emphasizing the de-stress and cozy feeling and whatnot. I'm interested to see how this looks like. Uh, it's definitely not your average farming game. It doesn't look like just seeing from the perspective of being these little crops and things.
It
But well,
gives
yeah,
me
go ahead.
kind of like a not to bring up Rare again, but like almost like a Viva Pinata vibe. Like you're caring for these vegetables as like creatures.
Yep. Yeah, it seems like that. I didn't play Viva Pinata, and I heard it was the greatest thing on earth, and I missed out on it.
I only played it a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, regardless, people can find out more. Again, October 20th, very, very soon, especially for the people who are listening to this. Okay, next up, we have uh, Ikone Island news. We have the Friend Pass release. It is out now as of recording. Uh, and so you can ah friends. I thought it was like a battle pass. No, it is multiplayer co-op with three of your friends. You can do it online. Uh, and oh, what? That's so cool. If one only one person has the full version, everyone can play indefinitely.
Hmm.
Um, there's like a demo that you can play co-op for a few hours. 2 hours of play, it looks like. But if you have the whole game, everyone can just play. You don't have to buy four copies to have four people playing. That is very cool.
Yeah, that's always nice when they do some kind of like as long as just one person owns something,
Yeah,
then everyone has access to it, at least via online, like connecting to each other for multiplayer or something like that.
yeah, that is cool. There is a large list of patch notes. I invite people to look at the link because they are pretty in depth with their patch notes. Uh, but the other big news is that this will be launching the full 1.0 version on November 9th of this year,
Oh, right
which will
around the
only
corner.
be 2 or 3 weeks away. Um, that's really impressive. Wow, what a feel good announcement. Everyone can just play together and You not having to buy the game for everyone. Uh, that's great. Um, and so to remind people, Ikonoi Island. Let me see. I don't remember. I talk so many games, I forget which ones are which. This one is. Why is there a shark man in this? Okay. So, yeah, no, it's very Minecrafty. Gather resources, craft tools, build your base and whatnot. So basically, very Minecraft survival type game on an island. The art is cute, and there's like a shark man. Yeah, that seems cool. Um, that's exciting though. Minecraft is or the genre, whatever you want to call it, is great for multiplayer. So this really is exciting. And yeah, November 9th, that launches on Xbox, Steam, Epic Games, and PlayStation.
Looks fun.
Uh, yeah. All right, there you go. Good job, Ikone Island. That actually might get me to play with multiple people. Uh, that's so cool. Next up, we have news on the king of farming simulators, Farming Simulator 22. Is that wait? Yeah, okay,
That's
22. I thought they lined up with the years, but I guess not. I'm wrong. Okay. Um, okay, so it is an expansion. Okay. This is an expansion that will launch on November 14th. They're adding carrots. Why were carrots not available before?
that. Yeah, very odd. I had to reread that to make sure that was correct because carrots are
uh,
like the most basic crop, right? In just things in general.
in life,
You got carrots,
like,
you got like potatoes and like
yeah,
wheat.
yeah, yeah, that's really surprising. And it's surprising because, like, looking all the detail they put into these other machines they're releasing and stuff like that. Um, yeah, it's okay, but there you go, carrots. They're adding a few other things. What is it? Parsnips and a few other crops. But
And some more
yeah, I'm
machines too.
curious. Yeah, more machines, crops. Uh, oh, and there's new machines that specifically help with these crops, like carrots. Oh my gosh, like this is intense. Like they have real intense machine names and stuff like that. But oh, Red Beet, yep, there it is. Anyways, that again is November 22nd. That is the premium expansion for Farming Simulator 2020 or just 22. Okay, next up. Now this is a game I do know. We have Garden Galaxy. For people unfamiliar, we did an episode on it. It is you're building a little garden, but it's everything's kind of randomly generated, the items you get.
Hmm.
So it's an interesting loop of trying to expand your item and trying to get your garden and get the items you want. But they're getting an update. I am pleased to see this game continue getting support because it is a fun game. I need to go back to it probably now because on October 16th, which means when people are listening to this, it will already be out. There's getting an update with autumn themed items. We got pumpkins, jack o' lanterns, your fall leaves, and whatnot. Um, so yeah, I think that's the first set of seasonal items they've done like that before. Oh no, that's not true. They did a summer update. Um, either way, that's that actually might get me back in because I've been meaning to check it out. I'm sure they've done a lot of patches in the 10 months it's been out.
So I'm looking at this. Are you on like an island or something, or are you what exactly? It's like you
It
said, just
so
randomly
you
generated.
Yeah, so it starts off. You're basically on a floating island or set. It's a tile based grid type game, right? And
Hmm.
so it's just floating out in space. It's basically like an island.
Okay, hence
And you're
galaxy.
yeah,
Yeah.
hence the name, right? Yeah, Garden Galaxy, and you're just you're generating items to decorate your garden, but that includes like new piles of terrain and land to expand your area.
Ah, okay.
Um, so yeah, it's a fascinating little game because it's, at least when I first played it, it requires some patience. I
Hmm.
remember calling it the most frustrating, cozy, or relaxing game I've ever played because the loop of how things were generated was an interesting way they went about it. But again, that was many patches ago. That might be a good episode for a second harvest. Um, yeah, I recommend people do check it out because it's only like $10 and it is relaxing. At least when it wasn't frustrating. um, Again, that is October 16th, the autumn update. Go get your spooky garden on and whatnot. Uh, oh god, oh no, not no. This next news, I don't like it.
Oh, I saw it. I'm excited.
Oh no, that's
You
why I
want me
don't
to
like
announce
it.
it?
Go ahead. No.
All right. Well, our next thing, Animal Crossing Lego sets. This is an audio podcast, but I'm rubbing my hands together.
I can hear it. I can. Oh,
If there's
we
one thing
have.
I spend more money on than video games, it is Lego sets.
Okay, you're already a Lego man.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, I'm looking at the Rivendell set right now.
See, that's a thing, right? Because I've managed to not dive into Lego. Like, it's always been there. It's tempted me, but this is the one that's probably gonna break me. Um, I'm I'm gonna be in. So to get more specific, there's been rumors and leaks of this and whatnot, but we have official announcements that it will be releasing on March 2024. We have a handful of sets. They are Bunny's Outdoor Activities, Captain's Island Boat Tour, Nook's Cranny and Rosie's House, Isabel's House Visit, and Julian's Birthday Party.
So my understanding is that these sets are also modular. This is what I've heard
Yes,
through the grapevine,
that is
and
correct.
they are meant to be able to essentially create your own island as if you were actually
Yes,
making an island in Animal Crossing.
that is correct. All the sets come on this flat base or whatever, and yeah, you'll just be able to swap the positions or interlock them. Lego your way through it and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean they're Legos, so
Yeah,
but
yeah. Uh,
which makes me feel like we can expect to see more than just what's announced in the future.
yes. So one of the kickers, there's minifigs, right? Of course, Legos. That's one of the half the fun or whatever. From what I saw, they're nothing too crazy. They all look pretty standard minifigs.
Hmm.
That look like Animal Crossing characters.
Yeah, no, I have a gripe with these minifigs. I'm sorry, but
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
the proportions look a little off, in my opinion. When you're playing Animal Crossing, the characters kind of look very like chibi-like, and they're very small. I guess. I mean, I guess they're not small because
Yeah.
your character also looks like it's half the size of a tree, but at the same time, everything's pretty shrunk. It's just like you kind of have a big head, a little body,
Yep.
and they decided to make these regular minifig size. So now this big head is on this kind of like elongated minifig body.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think they should have gone with the shorter legs personally or something. I
Okay.
I just think they could have made it like half size minifigs.
I guess.
I realize that would be an unpopular opinion.
Well,
So,
I mean, yeah, this is interesting because this is the merging of two very powerful vocal fan bases, right? The Lego people and the Animal Crossing people.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, that is interesting. I will say though, like I played since the original Animal Crossing, right? And
Hmm.
they were even more chibi-like back then. They
Oh, for
got a
sure.
growth spurt. When was it? Wild World, I think it was.
Hmm.
Um, and so I don't know. Maybe I'm just used to it because of that. Uh, but anyways, as for the sets, we have pricings for all of them. Uh, the most expensive one is Nook's Cranny and the Rosie House, which is $75, which is forgiving for Lego sets. Let's say,
Yeah, the Lego sets are expensive now. So,
yeah,
$75 for. I mean, you're essentially getting two houses, right? Every other set is kind of more of
yes,
one house, so.
more or less. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, it's still gonna look small, and I'm gonna feel it's way overpriced. But am I still gonna get it? Probably. I
Mhm.
want Nook's Cranny. Oh, it's not actually Nook's Cranny. It's one of the updated versions. It's
Yeah,
not the
it's
little
not the little
shack.
shack. Oh.
Oh, that's disappointing. Oh well. But yeah, I'm really scared though, like for myself because I'm worried that this will be the gateway, and I'm gonna be buying my Nook Cranny set, and I'm like, oh, you know what? There's that Lego Green Hill Zone with
Oh
Sonic.
yeah.
I could just put it right next to him, you know? Sonic could visit the cranny if I wanted to.
You just you know though, like in a year from now, they're gonna have some. I'm gonna say almost $200 museum set, and it's gonna have Blathers, and it's gonna have different sections of
Oh,
the museum
why?
and little animals that you can put in there. A little octopus, a little fish,
No.
little frog. You know it's in the pipeline.
Why did you? I didn't think about that. Why did you jinx me like this? No, that's gonna be the best one. No,
Lego, if it's not in the pipeline, come hire me.
we don't have a town hall either. That
Oh
one's gonna
yeah,
be
town
big.
hall. Hmm.
Oh, it's gonna hurt me. Okay, but this is just the tip of the iceberg because we're talking Animal Crossing, right? There is very much room for the Animal Crossing blind bag minifigs or whatever. Um, or even furniture sets.
Hmm.
Animal Crossing has a lot of items. They could
Yeah,
easily dip into that,
everything in Animal Crossing could be a blind bag for this set.
right? And that terrifies me.
It is a little, yeah.
Oh, we don't have a KK. We're absolutely going to get a KK set.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be the roost with rooster or something else, but yeah, we don't have a KK set. I imagine they'll go with the roost and KK playing there. But they're gonna get me with these. I just know it. So yeah, stay tuned to see my demise as I finally dive into the Lego world and just it all ends for me. All right. So that again, that is 2024. Still a few months before the end of that. Okay, you know what? I have a question for you. You say
Uh huh.
you're into Legos. I don't know how hardcore you are, but do Legos run out of stock easily?
Hear me sigh as I say that. Trying to think. So in the past, I used to just, back in the day, when they were still doing kind of just their own sets, which they still do. I know people complain that they have like too many licensed sets now, but they have plenty of unlicensed or
Yeah,
only Lego sets. Um,
yeah.
I kind of just got what was there. I was never particularly looking for any kind of set. There was this
Okay,
like Mars set that they had that I really enjoyed that did try to
okay.
get like a couple of different sets from, but
Uh-huh.
nothing like, going out of my way and stuff. With the advent
Okay.
of the internet though, and being able to look all this stuff up like I am now as an
Yeah.
adult, there are definitely sets that do just disappear because they've sold out of them or they just stopped making them.
Right.
I can't imagine them doing this with the Animal Crossing set. I got to imagine that this is something that they're planning to continue to release, new
Sure.
sets for and keep updating with the old sets. For
Okay.
instance, the Mario sets, I think you can still get a lot of those, at least
Okay.
if you look. You might have to look a little bit harder,
Sure.
but they're generally like available. The set that
Okay.
I totally missed out on and just kick myself every time I think about it is they had a Voltron set and it came with
Oh,
all the different parts and they all they all transformed into
you
Voltron
could,
together
in
and
fact,
stuff.
form the head.
Yes, it was and I saw that and I was like one day I'll get it and then I just waited too long and
Uh,
that's what happens, but
oh, I know that feeling. Well, I'm just worried because, like I said, I don't know how the inventory issues are dealt with, in Lego, but they're drawing in the Animal Crossing Nintendo crowd, right? We look what happened with Van Gogh in
yeah.
Pokemon. Look what happened with. You remember when Julian was a commodity, or not Julian, whatever his name was, the cat with the heterochromia.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and when New Horizons drop,
Hmm.
if anyone could make this is an inventory problem, it would be these fans.
Yeah.
But oh boy, here we go. Uh, but maybe the price isn't even the worst for all of them. But we'll see. Um, I just want them to bring back Bionicle. That's the only Lego thing I ever really got. Those were cool, little robot dudes.
Interesting. I was
Uh,
somewhat into Bionicle. I
yeah,
had quite a few, but not as much as the regular sets.
sure, sure.
Yeah.
All right. Um, two other pieces of news. I didn't put them on here, but I do want to mention them. I hope I listened to the last episode, but I hope I'm not repeating anything. Um, there have been patches dropped both for Mineko's Night Market and Paleo Pines. The last game I covered and the one we're covering today. Um, the Mineko's Night Market. I don't know all the details, but I'm very thankful that they've got these patches out quickly, and they're already available for Switch and Steam versions. I hope Al will find the links and maybe put them in the show notes, but go check them out. I will possibly fire up Mineko's Night Market again to see how much it's improved. Because I very much like that game, just hoping for a few fixes, and well, they roll some out. Paleo Pines, I read the patch notes and it's fascinating. At least one of the items is fascinating. In general, they just kind of, polished up a few edges and did nice things. No major updates. Um, but with that said, let's just get on into it. Let's talk about Paleo Pines.
Yes, Paleo Pines.
Okay, so this is available on Steam, Switch. I don't remember what else it's available
I
on.
think it's available
Uh,
on everything.
is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so for people who don't know, the elevator pitch is pretty simple. It's farming, but you have dinosaurs. It's what's on the box and it's what you get.
It's
Um,
exactly what you get.
yep. All right. So before we get into the nitty-gritty, what are your overall thoughts, opinions, Spencer?
My overall thoughts and opinions. It's good to start off with this because I'm someone that kind of complains about things even if I like them. So I enjoyed this game. I did have a thoroughly good time myself playing this game. There are plenty of things I would change about it. But ultimately, this is probably a game I will come back to. I might even play it after we stop talking, to be quite honest.
Okay. I
Um,
probably will too.
yeah, the last episode I was on, Al and I talked about Parkosaurus. I don't think I've touched that game since we stopped talking about it.
Well, there
Um,
you go.
yeah, but this game was definitely enjoyable. It's got a lot of charm. Using the dinosaurs for farming is different, I guess. I mean, I'm not
Yes.
as big of a farming game player as
Right.
you guys are, so
Yeah.
maybe this is just exactly the same. You just as skinned as dinosaurs, but it was
Yep.
fun. It has a collection element to it, very much kind of like Pokemon or something like that.
Yeah.
So it scratches a lot of different itches for a lot of different people,
Yep.
and I feel like you can get yourself lost without necessarily doing the main kind of quest, so to speak.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, there are missions that you do too in this game,
Yeah.
and I spent plenty of time just fumbling around doing my own thing, and ultimately that's kind of what I like in games like this. So yeah, I had a great time playing it. Great might be a little exaggerating.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
yeah,
All
what
right.
did you think?
So overall, it's a definite thumbs up and recommend for me. Um, this is hard for me because I love dinosaurs very much. I was a dinosaur kid growing up. I watched Jurassic Park when I was little. Dinosaurs were my Pokemon before Pokemon. And so obviously I'm heavily biased toward a game that explores that. Um, but as someone who is relatively well versed in farming games, I still think it's enjoyable. Um, all the points you made, I agree with. So let's get into but overall, though, I would recommend this to people to try out. If you enjoy farming games, I think there's a good chance you'll enjoy this. And if you enjoy dinosaurs, you will probably also enjoy this.
You might even
Uh,
enjoy it even more than if you were just a farming game person, quite honestly.
I actually agree. Yes, because I do think the dinosaurs are done really well.
Hmm.
But okay, let's start into the specifics. So, I have three sections here: the bad, the good, and the ugly. So
Okay.
let's start with the bad. What complaints do you have?
Complaints. So, the biggest thing, my complaints are small things that add up, right?
Okay.
Accessing things. For instance, if you're on a mounted dinosaur, for whatever reason, unless I'm just horrible at this game, you cannot access or interact with things other than the dinosaur's interaction. So let's say you start off with the parasaur, right? That's just
Right.
your dinosaur that you start off with, right?
Right.
And it each dinosaur has a skill. They can like clear debris, which is what the parasaur can do, and it can sprint. Two actions, right? But if you're not doing that, you can't interact with anything else. If you want to talk to someone, you have to get off your dinosaur. If you want to access your storage, you have to get off your dinosaur, which just blows me away. I was like, come on, the person's right there. Like, just let me talk to them. Why do I have to get off my
Yep.
dinosaur?
Yep. Absolutely.
So that would
Um.
be, yeah, that would be one thing I would, developers, if you're listening, patch that, please.
Yeah. I would. I want to put just a little side note. Since we're getting into it. Uh. Spencer and I are dinosaur nerds, so we will be using dinosaur names. Apologies if you listener might not be familiar. I invite you to look them up because dinosaurs are cool.
Indeed. And then
um,
you'll see the name, and then you'll be like, how do I pronounce that? And
yeah,
quite honestly, we probably won't pronounce all of them right, but
yep,
it's fun in trying.
yes, okay, but yes, that's a good point. That is annoying how you can't talk to someone, uh, or gather certain materials off foraging points and whatnot while on a dinosaur. Uh,
That's correct,
at the
because
very
some. Oh,
yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just say that I can kind of understand the foraging part. Maybe you're high up on a T Rex, but come on, I can talk to someone while mounted on a T Rex. I can say hey from up there.
Yeah, I don't really understand the decision, to be quite honest.
Yeah, well, there's a few things I don't 100% understand. Uh, like so, there's a handful of little things. I don't know if they all add up to me something major, but like one of my biggest gripes is inventory stuff. You can
Okay,
get big numbers of items, right? Like you can get hundreds and hundreds of pieces of wood. Well, when you want to move between your bag and your storage or whatever, you don't have the option of saying, okay, take out 20 or 30. You can only do the entire amount or half of it.
yes,
And
I
that's
was gonna
frustrating.
ask this. I wasn't sure if I was just like not getting. Was there a tutorial I missed, or if this is like,
Nope.
just.
Or at least
But yeah, it's only
I
stacks,
missed it
right?
too then. Yeah,
Like
you
I
can,
was
and
like,
what's odd is it exists because when you sell things at the trader or whatever, you can select exactly how many you want to sell. But that's the only time.
yeah,
It's
no, but
wild.
then it gets even more deep than that because it's inventory management from your storage to inventory is only stacks, right? So like you have
Right.
300 wood in your storage and then you click on it and it'll put all 300 in there, but in stacks of 100. And then now you
Yep,
have to
yep,
go back and
exactly.
return 200 stacks. So you only have one
Yep,
stack. And then when you go to sell that wood, this is what gets me. You go to sell that wood, and then you can select individually. You can select, like, I want to sell 2 wood, right? And they do have a
right.
button for min and max. So, like, I want to sell the whole stack of wood. But they don't have a button to increment it in tens, also, which I feel
Yep.
like is something like, yeah, that whole thing needs a lot of work.
Yeah, it is wild. And again, there's even the trading, like I said, is still missing the stacks of 10, which would be nice. But the fact that that's the only place where you can do individual counts and whatnot, it's baffling to me. Um, let's see. What other little complaints can you think of?
So I don't know if this would be a little complaint. I don't know where this falls on your good, bad, and ugly.
Yeah.
Um, I will say there were a lot of things I was finding out about the game. I didn't get. I'll be honest. I didn't get like probably end game. Is there an end game? I don't really know.
Yeah,
There
I
is, right?
think there is. I mean, there's the main quest. You have
Yeah,
to find where the rest of the Pterosaurs are.
yeah. Like I said earlier, I kind of just ended up doing my own thing, which is,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Uh-huh.
That's kind of how it's designed in the game. But uh, so there's a lot of things that I feel like I was finding out kind of on my own without that would have been better maybe explained. Like I'll be honest, I didn't realize that holding what is that RZ was sprint for some of those dinosaurs. I
Yep.
was putzing around that whole area and it was taking me
Oh
forever. It
no.
would take like a half day just to get across the place.
Oh no. Oh, that's rough. I agree with you. This is a complaint I have about many games because I think it's a critical thing to be clear and explain yourself well and whatnot. Um, I am struggling to think of. I had a specific example, but I can't think of it right now. The sprinting thing. There is a prompt on the bottom of the screen, but if you don't pay, they don't call it out or anything, so it's easy to miss because there's other prompts that are there and the sprinting prompt is added when you're on the right dinosaur, but it's not there when you're not on it, so it's easily missable. Um,
Oh, and so here's the thing with the sprinting thing too. You know, if you click on, I believe it's just R,
mhm.
your character will auto run
Wait, what?
in that
I didn't know
direction.
that.
Yes,
Shit,
there's an
what?
auto run
Oh
button.
my goodness. Oh, there you go. Oh, case in point. Oh goodness.
So so I was like clicking auto run and I was thinking it was the sprint half the time and I was like this doesn't look any faster. Like I guess I don't need to hold the button, but yeah, there's a lot of I feel like there's a lot of things that kind of like get fed to you at either inopportune moments or just, as far as information goes, you're just kind of like, huh, I could have used that information like 3 days
Yep.
ago.
Um, there was. Oh, the So there is I remember my example. There is a help option in the pause menu and it does have some tutorials in there. Um it doesn't really let you know that they're there, which is a shame because a number of them are very helpful. They explain how to use your tools. The one I wanted to
Hmm.
mention was the soil. We'll get into it in a bit, but essentially how to properly fertilize and till the soil and stuff like that. That information I didn't realize how it worked until I happened to find it in the tutorial items in the help menu. It would have been nice if that had been called out earlier, though, for sure.
It's funny that you mentioned the soil because it wasn't until only the other day that I was just thumbing through the profiles of the vegetables and I was like, huh, like they really want you to crop rotate in this
Yep.
game, don't they?
Yep.
Like that would have been useful to know before I planted tons of vegetables in random areas.
Yep. Um, absolutely. Um, so yeah, that is a complaint. Like I said, I have about many games, just lack of clarity or not explaining things well. One hopefully that can get updated because that's not impossible to fix. You just add some more prompts at certain points. So
No.
fingers crossed we get
Yeah,
those
and
patches.
I will give them credit, right? Like some games you sit through tutorials and they are like, some omnipotent someone or other
Yep.
talking at you going, hit A to use
Yep.
the axe. And then you're like, okay, like I get it, and then you have to sit there
Yep.
for like an hour, right? This game really does kind of let you
Yeah,
play the
it
game
does. It
almost
is
right
not
away.
very handholdy. Not at all. Yeah, that's one of the pros in my book that it doesn't really put any pressure on you in almost any way. Um, and I'll get into that later when we talk about quests, I think, in more detail. But one final item I wanted to add in the bad list. Well, I guess this kind of goes in the ugly. I'm not the biggest fan of the art style of the game. So okay,
Really?
well let me be more specific. I like the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs look great. They're very
Oh,
cutesy.
okay.
Um, and the way they're presented in this game, where people are just hanging out, they're your pals and working with them, and they live on your farm. They're not intimidating or scary. I think that was managed really well. I think that works well. Um, and I think it's fantastic. My problem is the people. Um, right?
Okay, okay.
The people also have this very cutesy art style, and this might just be a very personal thing, but it
Uh huh.
it's real. It looks like a Disney Junior show, basically. That's the way I describe it. In fact, I
Yeah, I
watch
mean,
Bluey, right? So I've seen other ads for Disney Junior shows. There is one actually called Dino Ranch, and it looks a lot like this. Um,
yeah, the people are. I mean, it's an art
yeah,
style, that's for sure. It's a design choice that they made.
yeah, and everything is very saccharine, like very happy. There, no one gets angry or there's big problems or anything like that. There's a character who says zippity, and it just feels very kid show um aesthetic.
Yeah, well, so there's a couple characters. One that stood out to me is Pippin.
Yeah,
He does kind of
they're
get a
actually
little
NB,
grumpy.
non-binary, um, which I just like. Hey, thumbs up. That's all right.
Oh,
No, but
sorry.
just thumbs up to the devs for throwing that in there, right? And I love Pippin. Pippin's a little bit of a gremlin.
Ah, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but they get a little like ornery about things if you ask them to
Oh
make
yeah,
like
yeah. I forgot about
they
that.
make these yeah, they make these like treats that's basically how you tame the dinosaurs, and they have like very specific, oh, it's my family recipe, like we don't screw with it, and then you ask them to make other treats and then they kind of get all
Yeah,
upset about it and stuff like, ah, fine, take your spicy
yeah.
poffin thing, dav it, whatever. So they were probably
Yes,
my
you're
favorite
right.
character.
They are most entertaining, probably because they have the most personality. Again, everyone's just very saccharine and friendly. Which is
Yeah, I
it's not the
mean,
worst thing in the world. And again, this is maybe just a personal preference of mine, but just all of it together with the art style, like it's a little too sugary sweet for my taste, if you will.
mhm.
But
I think the thing that threw me off about the character
mhm.
design was the background characters.
Oh
So every,
gosh,
every main character is very well is
yes,
designed,
yes.
so to speak. Whether it's well or not, they have a very specific design. But then you have these kind of backgrounds like, you know, random like
That are
village
just
characters filling the
wandering
space,
around,
and
nameless
they
NPCs.
are all yeah, and they are all clearly just, and I get it, resources and stuff, but generated from, the create your
Absolutely.
character
They're all
options
just
at the beginning of the
permutations.
game.
Yep.
I, so I saw one, I was like, what? That's my character. Like, what? That's basically my character. Like, what are they doing?
Once I realized that they don't actually do
So,
anything, and even if you talk to them, they're just whatever, I just stopped paying attention. I might have missed myself in that crowd, but that is pretty funny.
yeah.
um,
So I get
yeah,
the character
yeah,
design. Yeah.
yeah. Like I said, that's I think a very subjective thing, and again, that's just kind of an asterisk because I think the world looks fine. It's colorful and vibrant, and the dinosaurs I think all look fantastic. So, overall, it works. It's just that's a big downer for me, the characters. I'm a big character guy, so maybe that's why I focus on it so much.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think that's roughly my complaints. Do you have any other issues or complaints you want to talk about?
Trying to think off the top of my head. So, and this might get, I don't know if we're going to start talking about mechanics soon. Maybe
I
this is
mean,
a
we
good
can.
segue.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
go for it.
So, obviously the two big parts of this game
Yep,
are the farming and then the
yep.
taming the dinosaurs and
Taking
just
care of
having
them. Yep.
dinosaurs. And one of my gripes is the way you tame dinosaurs. So you get this flute and you play like a little like
Yep.
song for them, and each dinosaur has a unique
Yes.
song. And it starts off pretty simple. It's like, okay, like three notes or
Uh
four notes or something,
huh.
right? Like, okay. And each note you can hold like to make it a longer note. So, like like a short note or a long note.
There are four basic notes. Sorry, I just want to clarify for the listener. There are four basic
Oh
notes,
yeah.
and you can hold the notes to be like two notes big or three notes big. They appear like bubbles, so it's that's the best way to describe them. So that's a lot of possible combinations. But go ahead. Go ahead with your point.
Yeah, so but then you get into some of these other dinosaurs and it's like their little songs are like
Oh no,
god
you got to learn the
10,
score.
10
You got
notes
you got to
long.
learn you got to learn the ditty.
You got your notepad down and you're writing like okay, red, blue, purple, yellow,
Right,
yellow, purple,
right,
long
because
red.
the way it's presented to you, the dinosaurs are making this their songs, they're making the noises towards you, and you have to just pay attention like a memory game, basically. Um, and you don't have to match their speed or timing, but sometimes their speed or timing it varies, and sometimes they come out like real fast or a bunch of them together and whatnot. Uh,
Oh, there's a couple that like the note comes out
yep,
so fast where you think that you're like okay, it was red blue and then you're like you're not getting it, you're not getting it. You're like, "Oh no, that was blue
yeah.
red, wasn't it?"
Absolutely. I agree. That would be something they could polish up a little, make it a little easier because it's like literal song and dance going on here. It's a lot to keep up in your head, right? At
Yeah, I mean, what would kind of help would be like I mean, they just sort of
right.
have this, right? But like a songbook
Yeah.
inventory,
I think
right? Like
mhm,
you can look under the
yeah.
species.
I think there's an even easier answer. So, because you can tame multiple dinosaurs of the same species, right? And if you approach another dinosaur
Hmm.
after you learned their song, it shows you the inputs for the song. You can just read the inputs and play them there, right? The
Correct.
the only problem or how they could fix it is you only get that once you successfully did the song. It would be nice if you could, they because it's like question mark, question mark, question mark instead of the notes. Every time you filled the correct notes, it would be nice if they just filled that spot in. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that would definitely help.
hmm
I mean, to be honest, like you mentioned, once you played the song successfully the first time, it fills it in. So while I was running around playing the game, when you get their attention at
yep,
first, right? As soon as I played it successfully the first time, I would just do that simply to have the
yeah,
song, even if I didn't intend on
yeah.
taming them. So that way I could like come
When you
back
wanted to,
later and
yeah,
you know,
and
like, mhm.
yeah, because you can interact with them in such a way that you can put them in your Dino decks before you actually tame them. So yeah, I run around and did that a lot too, just to get them in my Dino decks, and because of that, I had their songs. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, but that would be nice if they could just improve that just a little bit. But on that note, yeah. So we're segueing into mechanics here. So let's talk about the dinosaur taming a little more because you're not done when you finish the song because there's still more after that.
Oh my good. Oh my goodness.
Next, so that was the song. Now comes the dance, the dance of flavors. So how you after you complete the song, you get a little gauge, a little like arrow needle on a meter showing between the dinosaur's bored and the dinosaur's excited at the ends. And there's this green sweet spot in the middle that you will able to befriend them once you hit it. And the way you move this needle on this meter, you either give them food, which generally speaking increases their excitement, or you soothe them, like you're reassuring them, whatever, and it calms them down. So you go back and forth with that. The trick is
Mhm.
there are five flavors in the game. Earthy, spicy, fragrant, juicy, crunchy. It doesn't matter. The point is there are five flavors, right? And the different
Yeah.
items you can get, which are either crops you grow or things you forage, they're combinations of flavors and some repeat, some are different, and so you don't know what the dinosaur likes, so you kind of have to very much trial and error feeding it different things to see what clicks, what doesn't click. Um, and you have a little wiggle room because sometimes the needle doesn't go all the way down. Sometimes it does, and then you have to start the whole thing. You have to redo the song. You'll know it at that point, but you still have to do the song again and then try once more to get that needle to land in that green zone. But then, final touch, the final piece of the puzzle. As Spencer mentioned, there's the items called poppins. They're just dino cakes. They look like muffins, whatever you want to call them. Poppins, not poffins, Pokemon fans. And
Yeah, I think I might have
yeah,
said
I say
Poppins
that I
earlier.
make
Yeah,
that mistake all the time.
Poppins. Yeah.
Thanks, Diamond and Pearl. They're Poppins, Pippin's Poppins. The guy's name, Pippin is the one who makes them, and they're called Poppins. Anyways, so these Dino treats, these Poppins, they come in the 5 flavors. Each one is just one flavor, right? To finish the whole taming process, you have to give them the flavor that they like, right? So you kind of had to figure that out from the other process of feeding them treats, and you can kind of narrow it down like, okay, I gave them a potato, it's crunchy. I gave them this other thing, it's also crunchy. They probably like crunchy, and so you give them the crunchy treat, um, and they become your buddy. Um, right, but if you get it wrong, again, you have to start the whole process over, and you've wasted a treat, and they're kind of expensive. So, um, uh,
See, so now this is where you preemptively do your
yep,
research, right? Like when you're playing the game, as we kind of mentioned earlier, as soon as you do the song correctly, the song is recorded and you know the song now. It'll just display it. So let's say you find food that they like,
right,
correct? Like let's say you feed them a carrot, which I think is juicy
right.
and crunchy. Those two flavor combinations, and it does work. It because you can tell when they don't like the
Yeah, it
food
tells you.
immediately. Like their little needle thing it'll spin around, and you're like, ah, great, cool, just wasted some food. Um, but if it doesn't move too much, then you're like, okay, this is clearly one of these flavors is something they like. And then if you put them to sleep by soothing them, you can record their data and it'll tell you exactly what flavor in their data that they like.
Does it always?
As long as you give them food that they do like, I
Okay.
believe.
Okay, but yeah, yes, so that's one tactic that you can use. If you soothe them or bore them or whatever, when you hit the bottom of that meter, they actually go to sleep, and as Spencer said, you can approach them and then you can just fill the Dino decks with their data. Um, I didn't know that. Okay, yeah, I thought you had to tame them to figure out the favorite flavor, but okay, that is good to know.
I I believe it does. You know what? Don't hold me to that because if it doesn't, then I don't want people burning down
Oh,
this
they'll burn it
episode.
down
So
anyways, don't you worry.
I
Al might
believe it.
burn
I
it down.
believe it does. Oh yeah,
um, but regardless, yes,
but
even though either way, if it doesn't or does not, some of the descriptions of the dinosaurs actually will tell you what they enjoy if you read carefully. That is a fun little
mhm,
thing. I wish they kind of did that for all of them, but regardless, doing the research does help, like you're saying. Um,
yeah. But this brings up another issue, and all these issues go back to
ah,
inventory
oh
management.
no, you're right.
You, if you have a day where you're like, I'm gonna go tame dinosaurs today, that's my goal, right? Then you got to bring like 5 different pop-ins with you. You got to bring like every single combination of food and enough to
Yep.
tame them, right? Because taming, Lord knows how long taming could last. You could give it like a carrot and be like, "Oh, okay, cool, I like the carrot," but then you're there for like 10 minutes, going like, "Okay, here's a carrot. Okay, shh, 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 shh. Okay, here's 2 more carrots. Okay, shh, 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 shh. Okay, here's a carrot again.
Dude,
Okay, shh,
taming
shh,
the
shh, shh, shh,
T-Rex
shh."
took me so long.
Oh my god. I can't imagine. It took me forever just to do the baryonyx.
Ah. um, but yes, you're super right. It's frustrating because yeah, that takes up so much space in your inventory. You only have like 16, 20
That's
slots?
probably why they don't let you choose one thing at a time, because they know you're going to need all 99 carrots.
I guess so. Um, You can expand your bag later. I read that. That was told to me in the game.
Hmm.
I have not reached that point yet, but it would be nice if that could be done earlier. Because yeah, inventory management is a pain. Because there's a lot of stuff to pick up on the ground, and when you're already carrying half your bag
Yep.
of treats you're gonna give to the dinosaurs, it becomes a problem for sure.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, that's why I kind of stopped doing just random tames while I was out and
yeah,
about, and then I like would make note of
yeah,
where they were, and then come back when I was
yep,
kind
me
of
too.
prepared.
And actually, because this will segue into the next part of the dinosaurs because once you tame them, it's not over yet. Because now you have to give them a home. Um, right? So this is the curse and the blessing of the style of gameplay in the ranch. Your ranch is basically fully customizable. You can put your crops wherever you want. You can put your dinosaurs wherever you want. You can put fencing wherever you want, decorations, etc. Right? Um,
Hmm.
the only one of the few, obviously, the farming has their own requirements of needing plots and whatever, but you can spread them out. You could put just random crops wherever you wanted to. But the dinosaurs have requirements for their pens. They need to be in. They need to have the correct food. They need to have the structure needs to be a pen, which means it needs a gate. They need to be in the correct company. You can't mix your carnivores with your herbivores. And some they have spacing requirements. Some of them like to be with other dinosaurs, some don't. Um, and all of this is important because dinosaurs have happiness meters. You have to take care of them properly, or they will leave. The game tells you almost one of the first things. If you don't take care of them, your dinosaur will leave your ranch if it wants to.
Now, did you have any dinosaurs leave your ranch?
I did not. Did you? Okay.
I did not. I will say there were a couple times where it was like
Uh
midnight and I was freaking out because I was
huh.
like, oh my god, I don't have a pen set up yet. And I had like, some dinosaur that I
Yep.
just tamed with me in tow. I'm rushing over. I'm like, okay, good. I just let me just expand this pen. They'll live in there for the time being.
Yep. 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 Um, I get that. I will say it is forgiving because, like I said, I have not had that experience where it left yet. But it is important because have only happy dinosaurs will become what they call helpers, which are the dinosaurs you can use around your
Hmm.
farm to help with your farm chores and whatnot. And they will lose the helper
Yeah.
status if they are not happy. Um.
So, in regards to that too, here's another thing that they don't explain, or at
Uh huh.
least I missed it. I was just at first giving, dinosaurs. So you give them a pen, you give them all their
Yep.
necessities, and they're happy. And just simply by like living on the ranch, and you can pet them, you can pet
Yep.
every dinosaur, which is great if you're into petting dinosaurs. You know, you can give them treats. You'll find out what their favorite treat is based off of their flavor profile. All that raises their happiness to eventually become helpers, and work on the ranch. But also, following you does too. And I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
They do tell you that.
They do? Okay. I must have just clicked through
Yes,
that
they
tutorial
said.
then.
Yeah, they say taking a stroll out of the ranch will make them happy too.
So,
Yeah. Um.
yeah.
Oh, and you have to keep their pens clean. Dinosaurs poop, so you have to clean up that poop and
Mm-hmm.
restock their food troughs, which can get expensive. Um.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it is very involved. There's rough edges, but I think overall, I think it's pretty well done. Um. It's I'm invested into taking care of the dinosaurs, right? Like, it is fun to figure out the pens. It's not great when, like you said, when you come back at the end of the day with a new dinosaur and, oh no, I have to make a new pen, and maybe the shop guy with the gates is closed, so I can't get a gate, and I have to put it in the wrong pen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mario, I
I
think is his
thought it was
name.
Marlo. Marlo,
Yeah.
Mario, one of the two. I
Oh,
thought it
is
was
it?
Marlo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a guy who has your pen fencing and your gates and things like that. and he closes up shop because they don't run 24/7. And yeah, so if you arrive with a new dinosaur and it's not set up, well, it's not the best feeling in the world. But once you get over that, or you're not in that situation, I think it is fun to take care of the dinosaurs.
Yeah. Oh, my bad. It is
Okay,
Marlowe, by the way.
okay.
You are correct.
Uh,
Yeah.
in fact, I think we did the bad, but now I guess this would be under the good. I think it delivers on the dinosaurs overall really, really well. This game. Uh,
Hmm.
I think there's a good variety. Well, with a couple of exceptions. Of dinosaurs. They all look fun. Their designs. Oh, and they come in colors. That's something we didn't mention yet. Um,
Yeah. So, how did you feel about the colors? Because I had mixed feelings about
eh,
that.
I'm not torn on it. I know it's going to be bad for people who want to collect them all or want the rarest ones or whatever. I'm just like, I like that color. I want that color. I don't care if it's common or rare. I just like that color, and so I'm happy with what I picked.
Yeah. See, my complaint is more so the fact that there are rare colors, but you don't know what those rare
Yeah.
colors are. You could see like a you could see like a midnight black T-Rex and you'd be like, "Oh, that's cool. Like let me tame it." And it
Yep.
could be common. And you're like, "Okay, well, I guess I've never seen any other
There
T-Rexes,
is
so
one way.
all right, sure."
If you get them recorded in your dino decks, it will tell you the color specifically.
Correct,
Yeah,
yeah.
that is the only way.
Yeah.
But in general, you're right. You could see the rarest color of a Triceratops, and you're maybe not even particularly interested in that color, and oops, you just missed the super rare one. Um, but again,
Yeah.
there's no other advantage other than the visuals and maybe the collection aspect if you're into it. But so that your mileage will vary on that. But I agree. It's yeah, it's mixed in that sense.
Mhm.
But overall, I think it still works because having color variations in itself, like if I want three T Rexes, I can get three different colors, and I like that or whatever, right? You can have a pen full of raptors or whatever, and they can all be different colors, and it makes the game feel vibrant and fun. Um,
Yeah, they're not all just the same
yep.
like the Pokemon effect where you're like, "Okay, my Pikachu looks like." I mean, the Pokemon's gotten better about this though too.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, they have, but
a
a
little
little
bit.
bit, right? But at least off the bat here, they do that pretty well.
Mhm.
I I guess my biggest complaint, and actually, I just found out some information that will address this complaint about dinosaurs, is there are two gaping holes. Like I said, there's a wide variety of dinosaurs, but we don't have any pterosaurs and we don't have any sauropods. For people unfamiliar with dinosaurs, those are the flying, like pterodactyl type dinosaurs and the long necks. Um, so what?
Yes. Although, let's remember though that pterosaurs
That
are
is
not
correct. Well,
dinosaurs. I always have to
yeah,
do
okay, fine. There's your
this.
PSA. You're right, right, and I know this. I'm
And
just
then PSA: pterosaurs are not dinosaurs for everyone out
I'm
there.
just saying this for the common man listener, but that is correct. Um, regardless, they're not available. Um, but neither are any of the aquatic creatures like your plesiosaurs or mosasaurs. But there's no place to keep them, so that makes
Hmm.
sense to a degree, right? Um,
Yeah, you do have a creek
and
that runs kind of like right
yeah, all
around
right,
your
mosasaur, you
ranch.
you you hang out here in the creek. Let me just build
Creek.
one of those little ponds.
Yeah.
Just stick your head in there, you'll be fine. Um, but what's interesting about, and I'm especially disappointed about sauropods, I have to say, because I think they're awesome. Um,
Yeah, that does seem like an odd one to leave out, especially with how kind of
yep,
iconic sauropods are
yep,
just visually.
absolutely. But the interesting thing I found out, and I just found it on the Paleo Pines wiki because I was looking up the list of dinosaurs just in case I need to check any names in specific. Uh, they were they're in the code, but they were cut for the final release.
Hmm,
Yeah, they
interesting.
have pterosaurids. They have a variety of sauropods. and even a few other ones. They cut out Spinosaurus, for instance. He didn't make it in. I know, right?
I can't
I
believe that.
know, I know.
Ah.
That
Although I guess a like saddle on a Spinosaurus would be a
I
little
guess.
funky.
Well, they did it for Stegosaurus somehow. um,
Yeah.
and Sarcosuchus Sark. Oh gosh, I can't pronounce it. It's basically an ancient crocodilian. That was also cut out from the game. Um,
Mm.
and apparently, Italic Pig has expressed interest in reintroducing them into the game, and hopefully in a future expansion or something. But we have no hard confirmation of that yet. But
Hmm.
hey, that could be something to look forward to. We'll get the sauropods in. I would very much be excited to ride a uh, Zip, Diplodocus. Yeah, I'd love that. Um,
Yeah, I would be interested in some expansions. Oh yeah, I'm looking at these now. Oh man,
I know,
these would have been
right?
great
The
in the game.
Amargasaurus. Oh, I'd love that. Look how pretty that is. And of course, Brachiosaurus. How could you not have? I want it. I want the Brachiosaurus. I don't care if it stomps my whole farm. I don't care if it's too big. Do it. Do it. um, and yeah, I don't. What's interesting to see is how these would fit in with the farming. I don't know. I guess they'd probably just till stuff or smash stuff. Um.
Yeah, or I could see all the sauropods being like tree harvesters,
Oh.
like harvesting like the
Oh,
fruit
that'd be
for
good.
trees.
Oh, that's clever. I like that. Oh, that's clever.
Hmm.
I thought pterosaurids would be good for a quick travel. Because
Oh yeah. Oh, there's
yeah, that's
another
one of the
thing.
biggest thing.
Man,
The
traveling in this
map
game.
in this game is sizable, and there's a day-night system. So there's time limits, like I said, on the shops and other things. It gets dark. It can get hard to see when it's dark because there's not a lot of light out in these dinosaur-filled fields. Um, and there's no quick travel options, even though there are like separate maps for different sections of the game. Um, quick travel would be nice, and I think introducing the pterosaurs would
Hmm.
be great to help you with that. Not that many of them would be rideable in real life, but oh well. um,
Yeah.
that would be nice. But yeah, all those gripes aside, I still think the dinosaurs are really well done. They really delivered on that promise of dinosaurs in a farming game. And actually, let's talk about that farming game aspect because, right,
Oh yeah. This is a farming podcast
right.
after all.
So the farming is well, maybe it's a little more involved than others because, well, okay, you till your farm, your soil, you plant the seed, you water it. That's standard farming fare. What's interesting, there's two interesting aspects in my opinion. First is the soil. There are different types of
Hmm.
soil and different types of fertilizer. Uh, so changing that will change the quality of your crops. Uh, well, speaking of which, you can grow crops in any season. There's only 3 seasons in this game, and you can grow all of them all the time, pretty much, save for a few.
Yeah, I don't know why they decided to make up 3 seasons instead of using
I
real
well,
seasons, but to each their own,
look,
I
you can't
guess.
have winter; all the dinosaurs will die. Plain and
Yeah,
simple.
that's true.
um, but yeah, they have 3 seasons based off the 3 periods that we all know: Triassic, Jurassic, Cretaceous. They're called other things.
Yeah.
Merry Critumnus to everyone. um,
Something,
yeah.
something, yeah.
Um, so yeah,
But the fruit does not. Just for
yeah,
clarification, though, so you can grow crops any time of the year, but the fruit on fruit trees only is harvestable during certain
yes,
periods
that is
of the
correct.
year.
Yes. Um,
Yeah.
oh, I just had a thought. So there's the dinosaurs that can help you harvest. Their skill is called ground harvester. Maybe the sauropods were meant to be tree
Hmm.
harvesters. I'm just had this
Oh, maybe.
realization. Anyways, so yeah, like I said though, going back to the soil thing, um, and it's interesting because once you say plant a carrot, right, you put it in the right soil. once you harvest the carrot, the soil changes to a different type, so you can plant another crop that fares better in that soil type. Um,
Yeah, so I didn't realize this until like a couple days
yeah,
ago, to be honest, and I
yeah,
saw that. I was thumbing through your little
yeah,
diary. So you have this diary that like keeps track
right,
of everything. And I was, like I said, I was thumbing through the profiles of the vegetables, and I was like, okay, carrot, and then it said, oh, it prefers like, because I had this buildup of fertilizer. I was like, what fertilizer should I use for carrots? And I think it says it prefers like squishy soil or something.
yep,
But then it also tells you what it leaves the soil as, and I was like, oh no, like,
yeah,
oh no, like this is a whole planning
yeah,
system. This isn't just plant the plants and grow them. This is like, okay, this is carrots first, but then it's going to go to potatoes when I
yep,
harvest them. And then from potatoes, it's going to go to spring. And I'm like, oh, no, no, no.
yep. I gotcha.
Break out the
Yep.
flow
Oh
charts.
yeah, no, you can plan min max real good in this game if you like that. Oh, if it's satisfying to get a setup going and knowing how you're gonna do it. Um, but that was one of the nuggets hidden in the help menu that they don't really tell you about. Because I was curious, like I was low on
Hmm.
one fertilizer, and it's like, how do I get this fertilizer? And so I like, okay, I'll just dig through the help section, see if it says something. And that's when I learned about the depletion and the replacing of soils and things like that. By the way, there are composters, and that's
Yeah.
how you can get fertilizers. Also, you get fertilizers from the dinosaur poop you clean up. What's once
Yeah. But the composters are. Oh,
no, go
sorry,
ahead.
go ahead.
Go ahead. I'll bring up my point.
I was just going to say the composters, when you first start your ranch, it's like covered
Oh
in debris and
yeah,
other
yeah,
random stuff. So like that's kind of how they gatekeep the
yep.
game, so to speak. Is like you start your ranch, you only have your one dinosaur that can clear debris, and then they teach you how to tame a dinosaur, which I believe is what
Styracosaurus.
the
Or wait, oh no, the first one you tame.
yeah
Well, the first one you tame is the Gallimimus, who can just run and
yeah the Gallimimus
yeah,
doesn't really do
yeah.
much
But
in
they have your
regards to
HMs, your
debris, but
Pokemon HMs. Styracosaurus can smash rocks. That's
yeah.
what it can do.
Yeah, so then you tame that one, and then by being able to smash rocks, it kind of opens up another part of your ranch because you can start clearing that area, and then you want to tame, say like a. I think the next one I tamed was a Ankylosaurus, so that one can smash wood, so you open up a third part of your
Yeah,
ranch, and
Ankylosaurus is
then yeah,
great.
then you start getting ones that can like
Yep,
slash things, which opens up another
yep, yep,
part.
yep, yep. Yeah, and as you said, right, because there's basically three entrances in your ranch where you can see, okay, there's a bunch of rocks blocking this way, a bunch of logs blocking this way, and a bunch of bushes blocking this way. And so you have to eventually tame the correct dinosaurs to plow your way through those obstacles. And there's a whole bunch of other
Hmm.
ones inside those areas. Your ranch is pretty sizable once
Yeah,
you
and
unlock all
then
of it, though.
once you reach those areas, that's where you get the
Yes. Yeah, the
fertilizer
composters.
containers, so
Yes,
to speak.
that is correct.
Yeah, composters.
What I was gonna say earlier about the fertilizer, one fun little thing I don't think it's ever told to you, but I just noticed, um, the type of fertilizer you get depends on what the animal eats or the dinosaur eats. Carnivores give like firm compost, herbivores like sticky, and the omnivores give soft, I think. But that's just I think a fun little
Hmm.
uh tidbit or way they went about that. I was fond of that. Um,
Yeah.
and on that note of talking about the dinosaur skills, that's probably the other big differentiator for this farming game because right, every farming game has the chores. You got to till the land. You've got to water your crops and harvest them, right? But now you can have dinosaurs do all that for you, or at least use them as big.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, farming simulator gets
pretty
big
enjoyable.
John Deere tractors. We get Triceratops and Paleo Pines, and it's awesome.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I will say some of the controls are a little wonky. They can
yes,
get a little wonky
absolutely.
at times. Like you have your tilling dinosaurs, and you really have to
Yep.
line yourself up to get a good like row of
Yes.
till
Yep.
going or
Yeah. The
tilling row.
problem is
You know.
it's a 3D, rotate the camera full open, not open world, but you know what I get the control scheme, right? But the farming
Yeah.
is still grid based, right? And you don't always see where it's going to land
Yeah.
when you're using your dinosaur ability or whatever. They that is a little rough.
Hmm.
In particular,
Yeah,
mhm,
it would have been. Oh, yeah, that's what I was just about to
the
bring up, the
watering is
watering.
really bad. I've been playing this game for a full week solid. I don't know where the water is going to land. Oh, and to be clear, the
Yeah,
dinosaurs
they
that
should
help
have
you
definitely
water,
implemented
yeah, it should show you the grid, just like where the square is going to land. That's all it needs, just to show you where the water is going to land.
yeah.
I was,
Yeah, just
yeah.
kind of like highlight the area.
One thing about that, so like the first dinosaur that will water for you is actually, I think, your Gallimimus. Yes, it is the first dinosaur. You're forced
Yeah,
to
that's
tame that
correct.
one. It's your tutorial for taming. Um, and so I thought, oh, is he, because Gallimimus is a smallish dinosaur and he has nimble hands. Is he gonna kind of grab a watering can and do it for me? Oh no, no, no. He does it Flintstone style. Suck up a bunch of water and just spit it all out.
Yeah,
It's great. It's
that
pretty
was pretty
funny.
funny.
The T-Rex is also a waterer. So I'm just imagining just this massive mouth spray from T-Rex all over. Um, but yeah,
Hmm.
that's probably it's a useful skill, but it's just wonky because you don't know where it's going to land exactly. That would be a nice implementation.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, all the
They
skills
are.
are useful, for
And
the most
something
part.
fun is that
I
there's
didn't.
variations in the skills. So Styracosaurus, for instance, it tills your land, right? Well, if you get Triceratops, which is much
Hmm.
bigger, Triceratops will till 3 rows of land for you at once.
Oh wow. I mean, I was about to ask that because I have a couple that I haven't fully
Yeah,
tamed yet, or at
yeah,
least had helpers, and I was like, well, this is clearly going to be a
yeah,
tiller again. Like, what? Why would I want more
yeah.
than one tiller? Why would I want, But
Yeah.
that there you
Well, there's
go.
two reasons. First, those variations, the bigger dinosaurs will do bigger amounts of things for you. Um, and secondly, an important part of this, dinosaurs have stamina, right? They can only take a certain amount of actions per day, of watering or tilling or whatever, right? So if you have more tillers, well, you can till more
Correct.
land without, mm, you know, because once you run out of stamina on one dinosaur, well, just hop on the other one and bam, you have more tilling. Um,
Yeah, unless you want to spend a lot of money on refilling stamina,
uh, Wait, you
which you
can?
can do, but you
I
have to
missed that.
use the.
Wow.
Y- yes, yep. You can refill it with the
Really?
poppins. The
Wow.
poppins
Oh
refill
my god.
stamina. Yes. That was something I had to look up.
What? Ah, it'd be
So,
so helpful early on when you have like one or two dinosaurs. Ah. Wow. But yeah, they are
hmm
expensive though, so I don't know if I'd like that though. That's
yeah.
wild. Okay, well there you go. Back to that point of not being clear. Um, but yeah, so that once I will say one thing I will say about this whole farming system. Once you get going, it feels really good though. Once you have a whole crew of dinosaurs and you can kill and destroy all the obstacles you want, I find it really enjoyable. Um,
hmm Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not like a farming game
yeah,
guru, but I definitely found it intuitive enough where I was like, okay, like this makes sense, and then also like with enough complexity where I was like, okay, I could see myself like really
yep,
digging deep into this, but I wasn't put off. I wasn't like, this is too
yeah,
much. This is like, it doesn't get too
yep,
out of a hand, but it gives you enough to really be like, all right, like I'm gonna sit down here, I'm gonna plan things, and I'm gonna like get three
there you
star
go.
crops. Because there is a crop
Yep,
rating system to this, by
mm-hmm.
the way. Like, if you just plant, say, a carrot in a plot of land, you'll probably get a 0 star
Yeah, it's three
carrot.
stars, but it's really four
But if you
with the
use,
0 star.
yeah, yeah, that's true. But if you take your time to do the right fertilizer and everything, then you can boost that
Yeah, and
up.
then you make money. Which is important because money is a valuable resource in this game. Things cost a lot.
Yeah. And it is very limited too because you can sell things to people, but even
Yeah,
they have
that's
money.
fascinating.
So you might you You might actually, suck them
I've
dry of money one day, and then you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
that is wild to see that. I don't think I've hit that personally, but it is fascinating to see them implement that where you can't just drop 10,000 carrots
hmm
and to make infinite money or whatever. Um
hmm
but I'm glad you felt that way about the farming and like I said, the dinosaurs I think add a lot to it because not only from the mechanical aspect of them, tilling things faster, because you have your own stamina, right? You can't till infinite squares of dirt yourself. So the dinosaurs help you with that. But not only that,
hmm
like it's just fun riding a triceratops. I get a lot of joy riding a dinosaur
yeah,
and harvesting having my stegosaurus swing its tail and harvest crops for me. Um and I think that was the promise that this game was making, and it fully delivered, absolutely. Um, yeah.
it definitely did.
Um, so let's see. We've gone through most of the mechanics, I think, which, I think are a big part of this game because it is so blended with the dinosaur so well that it's hard not to talk about. Um, the last thing is probably the quests, which aren't
hmm
too in depth. The most of them are
I mean,
fetch type quests or get X number of carrots or materials or whatever, right? There's a job board. Yeah,
yeah,
there's
they're
a job
quests.
board in the middle of the town that constantly refills, and that's basically easy small quests, either fetch quests or delivery quests, and they just give you a lot of times valuable resources. That's one of the things they updated in the patch actually. They made the rewards more rewarding.
hmm Now,
Yes.
let me ask you this. Again, another thing that it didn't explain to
Yes.
me, at least, or I missed that tutorial, right? You kind of get a hint at it because so certain characters
Yes.
have houses, and like they will, you can interact with their door, but it'll tell you like, oh, you're not
Yeah.
close enough with that person at first, right? But in your diary, you can actually see how close
Yep.
you are with that person. It'll tell you whether or not you're a
Yes.
pal
Yep,
or
another farming
whatnot.
staple, the socials
But
links.
then
You can't date anyone, but just friendship.
mhm,
Yeah.
no dating. But what kind of like tipped me off to this more so was that some of the characters that sell items, the closer you are with them, will give you more
Yes, that is
discounts.
not told to you, but that one I'm fine with. That's a fun bonus, in my opinion. It's a
hmm
reward, basically your reward for getting closer with them. They will sell you discounts, or sometimes I think they'll add more variety in their inventory and stuff like that. Um, yeah,
hmm
I was fond of that, and you do that primarily by doing these quests we're talking about, bringing them their things and
Yeah.
whatnot. So it pays off in different ways, and I was pretty fond of that aspect. That was fun to see.
hmm Now, some of these quests are,
Yep,
storyline driven, if as much of a storyline
yep,
as there is in this game. And like you said, most of them are fetch quests. But nothing seems to be too tied to any kind of
yes,
immediacy, which is good and a little weird
right,
at
right.
sometimes. Yeah, like I think I got a request for oh my cousin's having a birthday or something, and I want to get him a present. Get me these items, and like I had that
Yep,
quest for like days. Like, isn't that person's birthday like past like
yep,
a month ago or something at this
yep.
point? Like, all right, here
The
you go.
only restraint probably is some characters will uh switch the locations or not even be available on certain days. So that's the
hmm
only way I can think you might not be able to complete a quest, at least not immediately. Um, but otherwise, I think that's an important note that
Yeah.
the game really doesn't pressure you or in any way. With the seasons not even, preventing you from actually planting any crops for the most part, you can really just play this however you want. If you just want to catch dinosaurs all day, you can. Obviously, there are benefits to completing the storyline because new areas with new dinosaurs and such unlock. So that's definitely a driving
hmm
force, and other items in the shops and things unlock new crops. Uh, but by and large, though, it is a very relaxed pace. Even amongst other farming and cottagecore games, like Stardew, is relatively relaxed, but you still have the seasons and birthdays and things like which still birthdays do exist in this game, but it still feels relaxed even compared to say Stardew, which is
Not birthdays. They are
oh yeah,
called.
budding
What are
days.
they
They're
called in
budding
this
days in
game?
this game.
Budding days. Budding. Yeah.
uh, um, but oh, okay. So that was the bad, the good. All right, I have to bring up the ugly. I called it the ugly because I have to share a little story.
Okay.
And apparently this was addressed in the patch. So this was, I believe, my second night of playing this game. It
Mm-hmm.
was I was just playing. I was like towards the end of the day on my farm, and all of a sudden my left my Joy-Con stops working. And I can go to the home menu, it's working fine. It's just for whatever reason, this game is not reading the inputs from my left con, which was really odd. Um, so I have
Hmm.
to restart the game, right? Because I don't know, some kind of glitch or bug or whatever, right? And so when I restart my
Mm-hmm.
game, this was still early on. I only had, I think, the Parasaur and the Gillimimus. Um, my dinosaurs had disappeared.
Oh
And
no.
not only that, but the pen was now kind of glitching and the gate was gone. And anytime I took down an item, it would just respawn. So I would just get infinite respawning items, including the sleeping
Uh,
pet, the sleeping spots you have to make. Oh, I think we've mentioned that you have to make beds for your dinosaurs, basically.
oh
Um,
yeah. Yeah, you have to find these stones. They call them
yeah,
dream stones, and it's
yeah,
essentially a bed.
and they're supposed.
Um, and it's a
Yes,
requirement too for
yes,
the diamond,
yeah.
the dinosaur.
And they're kind of rarish because you just kind of find them on the ground wherever, whenever. But thanks to this glitch, I had a bunch of them. But my dinosaurs also disappeared.
Oh
Eventually, I was able to
no.
overcome it.
Did you have to
No, I
restart?
think I lasted like a
Oh,
in-game day
okay.
without them. Basically, I just had to reconstruct the pens, and
Mm-hmm.
they respawned. It was wild, though. See my dinosaurs just disappearing.
Oh.
Um, like I said, I went through the patch notes for the that they dropped, and I think that was a bug that they addressed. Because that patch was just
Mm-hmm.
dropped in the past week.
Y-
And it might have been before then.
yeah, I mean they dropped. I think they
Really,
dropped
I
two
believe
patches
it.
already. To
Yeah.
be honest. Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, that was just wild to see. And again, this was like my second day playing the game.
Oh no. Yeah, I didn't have anything that crazy happen to me. As far as glitches go, I mean, trying to think. Ironically enough, so I was taking my
Yeah,
Switch to work with me and playing at lunch, and it was like I don't know if it was like mid update when
yeah,
I took it away
yeah.
from my house, so it was just kind of like
Uh,
mid update, but it still let
okay.
me play the game, and then it like crashed. So I just like, oh cool, I get to restart like the whole, hour that I was just playing. And then when I got home, it updated and stuff. And then I looked at the notes and I realized like, oh, it crashed because I was saving and there was like too much
Yeah,
stuff that I did, which was addressed in
yeah,
the update that it was mid update. And I'm like, cool, like I should have just waited for the update.
yeah. That's yeah.
But
That was a rough one. The game still crashes for me every now and then. I don't know if there's still issues with the memory with that, but regardless
mhm.
though, they did at least patch some of it. That stinks though. You know.
Yeah, I think I've only had it crash
Oh.
one other time when I was entering the
Mm.
forest area, but don't know if they implemented some kind of autosave feature because it when I restarted the game, it just set
It
me
does
back
have an
right there.
autosave feature. Anytime you enter a new area, you'll get the loading screen. That's an autosave point.
Hmm.
Um, when you sleep and when
Okay,
you enter a
okay,
new area, that's an autosave point.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
okay. Mm-hmm.
Now, did you notice? Is this a glitch, or maybe it's just happening for me? When you go to inventory or you go to your storage, and let's say you like the first thing you take out or put in, it'll like auto scroll you to like a different tab.
I think that's a glitch.
Is that
That's a
just a
you thing.
me
I don't think
thing?
I've had this happen to me.
All right, like let's say I'm like
Right?
in my storage and I'll go to the
Yeah.
seed area and I'll be like I want
Yeah.
onion seeds. Right? I'll take the onion seeds out. But then all of a sudden it'll like put me in my like tool
That's
inventory in the storage. And I'm like, okay, let me scroll back
huh.
to the seeds.
I'm gonna have to check that out because I don't use the tabs that much. I'm just haven't thought about doing it that
Hmm.
much. But maybe that will happen. I don't know. I haven't. It hasn't happened to me because I don't get in that situation. But I'll test that out. That's fascinating. Kind of annoying. Dang. Hmm.
Yeah. Hmm. So, but they are actively working on the game though, which is nice to see.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm sure they'll iron that stuff out. And I'm of course they're listening to us being the big influencers they are. So hopefully they'll adjust the other
Hmm.
complaints. um. Okay. I think that was a pretty good look and discussion about Paleo Pines. Do you have any other comments or things you'd like to add,
Hmm.
Spencer?
No, I mean, like I said at the beginning, I enjoyed the game. I know we probably sounded like we griped on a lot of things, but sometimes you're hardest on things you like, and I would definitely give it. I'm a fan of, you know, 5-star rating, so I would give it maybe like a four
Yeah,
out of
I would
five.
too.
Um,
Yep,
for
there you go.
dinosaurs. Yeah, I would definitely recommend it. You're probably gonna get more enjoyment out of it if you're into
Yep,
dinosaurs. So, just take that as like you know, take
yep.
that into account. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna be playing this game probably
I
more
will too.
after, and
I want that
looking.
last area. I want to see what dinosaurs are out there. Um,
Yeah.
on that note, before we start wrapping these up, what are some of your favorite dinosaurs? We need these questions answered, right?
Oh, well, I know last time Al asked me, and I got to stick with my answer that I gave him, which was Spinosaurus is
Oh
by far
no,
my
that's
favorite.
the one that
Are
was
we talking? Are we
cut.
talking about in game?
No.
Yeah, I know. I saw that and I
Okay.
was like, no. But I like
Yeah.
Spinosaurs in general. So having a Baryonyx
Yeah.
in there was cool. I was like,
Your
okay, I got a
Spinosaurus light.
Baryonyx.
Are
Um,
there any that you've
yeah.
become fond of because of the game?
Hmm. Trying to think. I will say I do enjoy the Ankylosaurus. It moved a little bit
Yep.
faster than I was expecting it to.
I
I was
love
like,
Ankylosaurus.
so I was like,
Walking tank
um,
club guy. Oh, it's so cool.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I got
How
um.
about you? What were
I
some of
love
your
so
favorites?
many dinosaurs. Ankylosaurus, my favorite, possibly. I mean T-Rex is up there because little kid Jurassic Park. That's all. That's burned deep, deep into my heart. Um, and the T-Rex in this game comes up to me and cuddles with me before I even pet it. It's so affectionate. I think they did that on purpose because we can't think about how the
Hmm.
T-Rex would eat all these other dinosaurs. um,
Yeah, even the carnivores are
they
very
are.
cuddly and
Yep.
affectionate in this game.
Um, one dinosaur I have. Well, I liked it enough already, but I think this game appreciates it much more. Archaeopteryx, the little bird, the original feathered dinosaur, the little bird guy. He's
Yeah.
really, really little in this game. He's so cute. He's just little dude. Um, they were quite. Yeah, the little guys are fun. Oh my gosh, we didn't mention it.
Oh,
The
that's
little guys. I don't know how far you got. Um, did you reach so they have a few holidays. They're kind of just whatever. Did you reach Shenanigan, the holiday called Shenanigan, Spencer?
no. I'm
Okay.
almost there though because the character
Yeah.
that puts it
Okay.
on is there in
All right.
the plaza
Okay.
right now.
So I'm gonna spoil you just a smidgen here, but after Shenanigan,
Sure.
they Avery, I believe that
Mhm.
character's name is. He unlocks some auto farming
Mhm.
for you. He'll give you a bowl called the seed bowl, and your little guys, they will
Oh.
plant seeds for you.
Oh, okay, that's what they're used for. I have
Yes,
a couple little
right,
guys around my
because
farm right now, but that's all they do
yeah,
is
their
run
skill they
around.
have so every dinosaur has its skills listed, and the little guys everyone has like a field skill and a farm skill. Their field skill is called Discover. They can help you find items and new dinosaurs out there in the wild. But their farm skill is called like I think it's Tend or something like that, and it's not clear what it was.
Mhm.
But then I got it, and that's what they do. Once you put a bowl out, they can help you with tasks. I only have a seed bowl, but I suspect there will be other kinds of bowls. Um, So that was fun to see,
It's good
and
to
it's
know.
really cute to see them running around helping plant seeds and stuff. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, that's Paleo Pines for you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for joining me, Spencer. Where would
Thank you for having
well,
me.
and then thank you, Al, for having us bringing us on. Um, would you like people to find you on the internet, and if so, where should they?
They can find me. This is what I plugged last time. I'll plug it again. I have a cooking Instagram, which is not updated as much as it could be. But I like to cook, so you can find me there on
Yeah,
spencer.cooks. SPENCER.COOKS.
nice. Um, yeah, Spencer
Yes.
cooks a lot of Mexican food. He's a connoisseur. He knows the good stuff. So
Ah,
props for that for sure.
thank you.
Uh, you listeners can find. Well, is there anywhere else I might be cutting off your plug? Anywhere else you'd like to plug or mention? Okay.
Oh, no, no, no. That's,
All
that's
right.
probably the best place to be
All
100%
right.
honest. So,
People can find me at Cooper Prez for my personal Twitter, which is mostly retweeting other funnier, smarter, more interesting people. At Sprite Squared if you want my art account and see pixel stuff. Or probably the most interesting thing, at Rainbow Mario Pod on Twitter, where you can find the show Rainbow Road Radio. Again, I host with our mutual friend Alex on all things Mario. Big month. We're on a hiatus, and
and
we're back. Like I mentioned, we did Luigi's Mansion. Mario, excuse me, Alex went to Japan. He will have stories about Mario for next week's episode. And also, Mario's new voice actor just dropped, so hear thoughts on that. Um, but yeah, find me there. You can find the podcast at THS Pod on the Twitter or the Tumblr. You can find the main host Al at the Scottbot on the Twitter or Mastodon.Scott. Go to harvestseason.club for feedback/links, all the show notes, episodes, all that good stuff. And perhaps most importantly, go to the Patreon, patreon.com/thspod to become a patron of this program, where you can also gain access to fun bonuses like the Harvest Season Slack, where we all talk about the show and other games and other people's thoughts on the games we cover. And you can also get access to a show called The Greenhouse, our premium show, which is in regards to non farming game topics. Spencer and I will actually be having a greenhouse for you soon on perhaps other big, scaly reptile creatures that aren't dinosaurs. We'll let you imagine
mm-hmm.
what those might be. Um, and also, I want to plug that Johnny, one of our other co-hosts on rotation, and I did another greenhouse, very special greenhouse episode where we dive into the deepest, darkest pits that is the Sonic fandom, and I introduce Johnny to Sonic characters as we rank them.
Oh, oh my goodness.
He knows nothing of
Oh
Sonic the
my
Hedgehog,
goodness.
so it is a that was a real treat, and I'm excited for people to listen to that one. Just wait till finally Johnny learns who Big the Cat really is.
Oh, jeez.
All right. And so, unless you have anything else to add, Spencer, I think we're done here. And so,
No, yep.
all right. And so, dear farmers, until next time, have a good harvest.
The Harvest Season is created by Al McKinley, with support from our patrons, including our pro farmers, Kevin, Stuart, and Elisa. Our art is done by Micah the Brave, and our music is done by Nick Burgess. Feel free to visit our website, harvestseason.club, for show notes and links to things we discussed in this episode.